All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Lawson's Finest Liquids, and they're out of Waitsfield, Vermont, and this is their Double Sunshine. So this is a double IPA that comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, 67 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is just under 1 month old. So I'm super excited about today's review because, full disclosure, I've had this beer once before at a bottle share back in 2016. I had about 4 ounces of it. It was in the middle of the share, and I was underwhelmed to the point where, to this day, I say Sip of Sunshine is better than this beer, all based on a 4-ounce pour at a bottle share. So therefore, I am an idiot. However, I had the ruby red version of this. I reviewed it maybe a couple years ago, and it was delicious. I loved it. It was absolutely outstanding. So they released it again earlier this year, and I had to grab a can. So here we are. Not only that, though, you saw the title. I got Sip of Sunshine. I do. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put this off camera for the time being, but I'm going to review this one normally, and then at the end, I'm going to compare it to Sip of Sunshine to see what I do actually prefer. The cool thing about this is just under a month old. Sip of Sunshine is just under 5 weeks old. They're actually canned 7 days apart. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's crack this one open. They do have a spiel. Let me read real quick. It says, our American double IPA is packed with juicy, lush fruit character and a dank herbal aromas thanks to the abundance of U.S. grown hops. They're very generic. They don't say what they're brewing it with. And in fact, they're both double IPA Sip of Sunshine. This both 8%. This one's 67 IBUs. That's 65. I don't know what the actual difference is. Outside of Double Sunshine was actually released before Sip of Sunshine. This used to be like the double IPA from them, and then at some point they busted out Sip of Sunshine. So anyway, let's give it a pour here, see what we got going on. It's going to be a nice clear, maybe some slight murk to it. Now remember, I'm trying to do a proper review with these two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, throw this over here. I'm going to bust out one of these. We'll throw it over here like this. We'll have to get it, lined up how it should be. And then I'm going to crack this open and pour it as well, because why not? I'm not going to do it. I just want them to both be in the glass for a little bit so that they're kind of a fair comparison. Now, pouring it out, I don't think they look much different, if I'm being honest with you. So let me just make sure I have about the same amount, because when we do the cuvee at the end, I do got another glass to do it for. So we're going to do something like that. So we'll have them both on the screen, but I'm just going to put this to the side for now. Let's do this based on what we're seeing. So how does that look? Yeah, that has that beautiful golden orange color, has a good clarity, very fine particulate. Let's see if I bust out the light here, if you can see the fine particulate. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. From the top down, no. From the bottom up, perhaps, yeah. You might be able to make out the fine particulate. Let me see that fine particulate. Yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing. It's suspended in animation. It has a beautiful finger head that is, I would say, straight on white. A little bit of alcohol legs around the rim, but that looks like a classic Vermont double IPA. Let's get a nose. And it smells like one. It is definitely dank and herbaceous. They didn't say dank. They did say dank and herbal. Yeah. It has almost it's a combination of straight on marijuana with a little bit of a garlic onion thing. But then tons and tons of grapefruit and citrus in general. So orange. Some stone fruits like an apricot maybe. Mango. Again, when I had it at that bottle share, I'm not sitting there and dissecting it like I am here. I don't remember it being dank and herbaceous and the whole nine. I just remember this being underwhelming. And it is far from it in the nose here. Yeah, this is an old school, this has heady vibes to me. It really does. Because sometimes when you get a batch of heady that has that big kind of dank quality, kind of smells like this. It's a little bit of a generic white bread too. Maybe a touch of pineapple. Wow. This is just under a month old. It smells like it's just under a week old. It is vibrant and jumping out of the glass. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, real nice. It's funny because, you ask a lot of people, they would say no, a Vermont double IPA doesn't taste like a West Coast double IPA. But drinking enough West Coast beers lately, This is very reminiscent of a West Coast double IPA, but with maybe a little bit more of like a fruit character and more of like that dank herbaceousness, but it still has just like the overall feeling of something from the West Coast to me. Body's higher side of medium, lower side of full. It's not overwhelming, but it's definitely hefty. The mouthfeel is the old school, like moderate carbonation, crisp on the palate, very clean. You know, it's not super smooth and soft and everything. It's appropriate for what you're looking for out of this beer and this style as a whole. The taste, the nose carried over for sure. Up front, a little bit of white bread dies underneath the palate, but then waves of citrus to me. And again, it's ruby red grapefruit, it's orange, it's tangelo, maybe even a touch of like a lemon lime vibe. Tons of citrus, like an immense amount of citrus. But then it transitions into this nice, like underripened stone fruit, so like an apricot, maybe a mango, a touch of a pineapple as it finishes. And it finishes with this huge, dank, herbaceous, piney, resinous feeling. This is moderately to a touch over moderately bitter, almost approaching full-on bitterness. It has a nice full-on dryness as well. Sweet and juicy at the forefront, but it really, I think it peaks sweetness-wise, like right at maybe like a third of the way through the palate, and then the rest of it's just like dank, herbaceous, dry, bitter. It's beautiful. 8%, slight warming of chest, nothing real noticeable outside of that. Fucking delicious, and listen, I'm the first person that'll tell you when I'm wrong. And I was wrong to give this a 3.75 out on tap back in 2016 based on a 4-ounce pour at a bottle share. And now drinking this one on a fresh palate with a fresh can, this is delicious. It really is. Is it setting a new standard? It is not. But this is, if you put me back in 2016 and I'm drinking this and I have a full can and it's like this, I wouldn't have loved it back then, but I would appreciate it and probably gave it a pretty good score, not a 3.75. This is fucking wild how good that is. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to do a complete comparison to make this a video real long. So what I'll say is I'm going to give this a rating. And that rating is going to be a low 4.5. I'm going to give this a 4.45. This is fucking delicious. Fantastic. I am so happy that I grabbed this one and I properly reviewed it. I do think I like maybe the Ruby Red one just as much, if not a little bit more. I like that Ruby Red Blast. But now that I got a chance to actually drink this on a fresh palate and a whole glass of it, like, yeah, it's this is great. I'm gonna drink the rest of this and the sip and be feeling fantastic. Now we're gonna put this over there. So 4.45 out of 5. How does this taste in comparison to Double Sunshine? Doesn't smell as good. Now I will also say, on the side here, they say our lupulin-laden India Pale Ale is packed with juicy tropical fruit character, bright floral aromas, and delicate layers of hop flavor. Pour mindfully, inhale deeply, and enjoy a tropical vacation in glass. I don't know how much this matters, but this was brewed at Two Roads, for sure. This beer was brewed at Two Roads. And because I think it said, say Stamford? Yes, Stratford, Connecticut, right? So that's where this one is brewed. And this one is brewed at their Waitsfield actual brewery. Does that make a difference? It could. This smells similar to this, but just like less impactful. Like it's not jumping on the glass like that was. Same thing, big citrus, white bread. It's not as dank and herbaceous, let's just say that. It has more of like a resinous pine. It's almost like a black tea quality. It doesn't smell bad. I do smell a little bit of the booze. All right, so let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Still really good. Oh. First thing I can say, and I don't know if this is the case for everybody, but for me, it's a little bit sweeter. This is less dry, less bitter, a little bit more sweet. They say tropical fruit character. Yeah, it has a little bit more of like a stone and tropical fruit sweetness. Body's a little bit lighter, I'd say. If this is lower side of full or higher side of medium, this is like medium to higher side of medium. So a little bit less. The mouthfeel is very similar, crisp, effervescent, spritzy, pretty clean. The taste, the two main differences that I'm gathering from this is this has a little bit more of a sweet kind of like fruit character with a little bit less of that dry bitterness. And it also doesn't have the ranky dank herbaceousness that this one has. It's more of like your generic piney, floral sensation. Still really fucking good. All right, cleanse my palate one more time, and we'll go back and forth. All right, let's go nose and just see. That smells like jumps out of the glass with that dankness, herbaceousness, citrus. Yeah, the nose goes to Double Sunshine. No questions asked. Right out, it has such a more of a biting presence to it from the hop character. Almost like, you get like the puckering kind of sour face when you drink a sour. That's kind of like that, but with like the hop character. Definitely more vibrant. Man, they're both really good in different ways. I would say for me, it depends on your mood. If I wanted a slightly sticky, sweeter, tropical, and stone fruit vibe with like less dankness, a little bit less bitterness and dryness, Sip of Sunshine does it. If you want an old school, resinous, dank, herbaceous, citrus character, biting, just like saturating the palate with hops, like this is it here. I think I like Double Sunshine a little bit better than Sip of Sunshine. If I'm giving this a 4.45, I'd give this like a high 3.25, like a 4.3, 4.35. Both fantastic. Both just awesome. Double Sunshine, limited release. Sip of Sunshine year round, so it's easier to get. So yeah, I'd say 4.45 for Double and 4.35 for Sip. So not too far off. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to pour Double in there. Quite a bit. And then we're going to pour Sip in there too. I think this had a little bit more in it, so in exact science, it's the cuvee. It's the cuvee. You always got to do the cuvee. You always got to. I'm not going to cleanse. I always cleanse my palate for the cuvee. I'm a fucking moron. How does that look like? It looks like both beers. Yeah, it's funny because you can see the two beers next to me and this all looks the same. Nose. Oh, Jesus. It smells like both beers. It's like you get the hop saturation in this one, that dank herbaceousness, and then tons of sticky, sweet, tropical, and stone fruit. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Delicious. Is it better than each of them on their own? I think it might be better than Sip of Sunshine. I'd give this like a 4.4. I'm right in between. Still think I prefer this slightly. Then I would go with the cuvee and then that. It just brings everything together. It's the best of both worlds, but I still think I enjoy like the shock to the palate that Double Sunshine provides. Fucking delicious. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm going to have a good time drinking the rest of these. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to do the whole Sip because I've already reviewed Sip. I just wanted to do this. I thought it'd be fun. We'll put everything off camera. So let me go back to Double. One more sip and we'll shut this down. What is it? Probably be like a 13, 14 minute review. Price point and availability. $17.99 for a Double, $15.99 for Sip. Extra $2 in my neck of the woods. Might be cheaper, more expensive where you are, who knows. Sip has been usually $15.99 a 4-pack. This is $17.99. All things considered, when this comes out, I would definitely buy it over that. But Sip is year-round, so availability, Sip's year-round. Double Sunshine is a special release. They release it typically in January. So from that aspect, Sip gets the nod just because you can get it whenever you want. And it's usually fresh around here when you grab it. Like I said, I just randomly walked into a store, and when I bought it, it was like a month old. So like it's still pretty fresh. But I still think I'd give the nod to Double. A little bit more expensive, a little bit harder to get in terms of availability. I think they distroed in 9 states. You can check their website for those 9 states. But that's just absolutely fucking delicious. I don't know why this had the sideways. I fucking have a camera. I have my tablet. I'm shutting this down on. 8%. A little bit of warming in the chest for both, but very, very minute. I just think Double kind of more vibrant, and I don't think a week matters, honestly. They're both kept cold from where I bought them. I don't think it matters. I think this beer is just like that old school, like just punch in the face kind of hop character, where Sip is kind of like more nuanced and like lighter with the bitterness and the dryness, look more approachable to somebody who maybe doesn't love old school IPAs. That's what I would say about it. But who am I? Just a fucking random average Joe. as we would say. Anyway, I'm shutting this one down. If you've had this one before, post in the comments section. Let me know what you thought about it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Always fun to do these. Even though I already reviewed Sip, I thought it'd be cool to kind of, compare it in the same review as Double. Doing it blind would have been probably the most accurate way, but doing them just like this, I can definitely see the difference. I never understood why they released Sip of Sunshine. I'm sure there's a whole spiel out there about it, but they're both 8%. This is 67 IBUs. Sip is 65. It's like very similar, but not really. They're definitely two different beers. Shutting this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.